and I'm gonna try to be just rotating too late,
and you're actually thinking about where to rotate to, it really shouldn't be as hard as you think. The sixth reason for Benji's consistency is his decision making, and to be more specific, when he decides to take fights and when he decides to go for high ground. The reason I bring up these two examples is because they are decisions Benji is constantly making the right calls on. For fighting, we saw it a little bit earlier, but Benji is not afraid to push someone when he feels the time calls for it. Usually it's after he gets someone low, or he sees they're running out of mats, or even when he sees someone who doesn't look like that strong of a player. On the flip side, he also knows when to let other players rotate and when to avoid 50-50s that could cost him the game. For taking high ground, it's very much the same, with Benji's awareness being the main facilitator. In this endgame clip, Benji is really far back in zone, surviving solely off of fish. He only has a bit more than 300 materials total, but still makes the decision to build up for height. Why? Mainly because he saw his opponent was not building at all. This signaled to Benji that the other guy was out of mats and that he had a free shot to build up above him. As per usual, Benji was correct and brought home the win in a scenario he probably shouldn't have. The second to last thing that makes Benji so consistent is that he does not tilt. Tilting refers to when you get frustrated, usually from something that you feel wasn't your fault or that was out of your control. If you've ever played Fortnite, then you probably know what I'm talking about and how tilting it can be. Maybe your build never placed, or your edit didn't go through and you died because of it. Most people, including myself, would let that affect our mentals and start playing worse because of it. Not Benji though. Something totally ridiculous could happen to Benji and he'd still be ready to go for the next game. That does not mean he doesn't rage or call Fortnite garbage. It's actually the opposite. The reason Benji does not tilt is because he does rage and he does let out his frustration.
Normally I
He
don't.
doesn't sit there and try to bottle up his anger or suppress it like most people would tell you to do. This is why Olympic athletes train to the point where a heightened sense of adrenaline and pain does not affect them. Performing in esports is no different in that regard. So just like Benji, stop trying not to tilt and let it happen without affecting your gameplay. The final thing I want to talk about is Benji's clutch factor. The pure amount of endgame clutches Benji has pulled off in solos and squads is absurd. And when you think about it, it's why he's always placing so highly in these tournaments. Stepping up in big moments is what separates coming in second and third a bunch of times from coming in first and winning the tournament or placing in the money. The only bad part for the majority of us is that becoming clutch is really not something that can be taught. It requires a ton of experience, embracing the spotlight, not being nervous,
he's probably going
and
up right there.
sometimes a tidbit of
Seeker's
luck.
nice,
So,
boom,
everything
broken
else
down
you can go out
instead.
and grind, obtaining
I'm
that
kidding.
clutch factor will not be as easy. Just realize though, that does not mean it's impossible as long as you put the work in. Overall guys, those are 8 reasons why Benji Fishy is so consistent. If you guys learned something new or you found the video useful, then do be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and to turn on post notifications. Shout out to everyone using code Jerry. Remember to send pictures of you using my code to my Twitter or Instagram. Otherwise, that's it for me.
Oh
And
yeah,
I'll see you
because
guys
26
in the
minutes
next
and how
one.
my
And
game
later.
uploads. Oh yeah, it is mad, it's going down. Oh yeah.
Hey guys, so in this video, I want to give some tips on pushing people, playing aggressive, and winning fights. In order to do that, we're gonna look at the king of W King, Unknown Army. If you don't know who Unknown Army is, all you have to know is that he's a controller player who won last week's solo cash cup by only placing top 10 in 2 games. Yes, you heard that correctly.
Then
The
you're
man
like
had
living
60
under a rock.
eliminations
Like
and
actually.
0 wins, yet still placed first. If somehow that's not insane enough, he also qualified twice for the World Cup and has won a total of 6 or 7 cash cups, including coming top 5 in the most recent one while on keyboard and mouse. Evidently, the kid is an absolute animal. The combination of his build and box fighting skills allows him to kill anyone he wants to and win fights nobody else can. So I thought, who better to learn from on how to W key than the most skilled W keyer in the world? With all of that being said, let's get into the video. One of the first things people say about Unknown is that he's a brainless, L2 spamming controller player. They say because of his aggressive playstyle, he has no game sense whatsoever. I, for one, highly disagree. The reason Unknown is so good at racking up eliminations is because he's actually an extremely smart player. Let's take this fight for example. As Unknown gets a tag, he immediately starts pressuring his opponent. He starts spam shooting him, building up after him, trying to replace his wall, basically doing anything he can to stop the guy from healing. They end up box fighting for a little, but nothing really happens, so I will cut to the important part right here. Unknown's opponent tries to make an edit play on him, but Unknown sees it coming, jumps backwards to dodge it, and comes right back, trying to break and replace the wall.
Oh yeah, guys, I forgot how to down mark.
What about the play Unknown tried to make? As the fight resumes, his opponent boxes up below him. Unknown eats a shotgun shot, but then is finally able to get a ramp over him, and legitimately, if you make the decision to W key, you have to keep putting pressure on your enemy. This is something Unknown is great at, as he never gives any of his opponents any time to breathe. No matter who he's fighting or who's around him, if he's set on fighting and killing you, then you're not going to get away from him. Reason being is he knows that anytime they're given not defending themselves or scrambling, trying to
But I can't believe I missed that shot right there.
And all because of it. As a W keyer, you cannot allow that. However,
I was itching my onesie.
You cannot allow yourself to die. Unknown doesn't just go around jumping into people's boxes and replacing builds out in the open. He's always making sure he's protected and being smart with his push. That's why in our example, he took the time to build a wall to his left in the middle of the box fight. Had Unknown not done that and simply stood in front of his opponent's wall trying to replace it, he would have gotten dumped on by an edit play. He knew that though, so he put a wall up to his left for protection against any possible side edit. And in addition to that, he stood to the side of the wall he was pressuring, so the other guy had absolutely no angle on him. Now ask yourself, is that something a quote-unquote brainless player would do? I don't think so. The next tip I have, which I actually showcased at the end of the engagement, is to always take control of the fight.
Oh shit!
Literally and figuratively. Did you notice how Unknown walled off the far side of the box before he made the stare at it? That alone ensured his opponent would be locked inside, even if he managed to phase through the ramp edit. I know that's not a new trick, but establishing walls like that is something top-tier box fighters like Unknown and Kanata frequently utilize. There could be a guy 2 feet in front of them, and they would still have the foresight to block off any escape route possible before securing the kill.
Like, what was that with the sniper, bro?
Taking control of the fight. When I say figuratively taking control, I basically mean setting
I
the tempo
sniped
and
all of them and destroyed them. Bro, I sniped the first. I have 5 kills.
And the reason for that is again because he's in control of the 1v1. Before you ask how to do that, there's not one specific thing you can do to take hold
Bro,
of
I haven't even practiced sniping or anything. I'm just one of the best snipers in the game, boy. Yeah, boy. But seriously, I'm just gonna upload this real quick. Part 2 coming out right off.